Welcome to the Third One channel, where today we're doing episode 6 predictions for iCarly season 2. We got a lot of pictures, a lot of information to go through, so let's get straight into it with some pictures on set. First off, we got this picture where it looks like Freddie and our new character Paul are fighting, and of course, if you guys haven't seen, Josh Peck is joining the cast at least for a couple episodes this season as the character Paul. Paul will be a manager for he gets hired as a new manager, but he used to be the manager for Carly when she was in Italy as well. It's complicated, but we'll see him competing with Freddie for that manager spot for Carly, or the producer spot. But here we see some kind of little fight between them. Here we see maybe it looks like the Kev app's new office. It seems like Freddie's app is taken off and he's got a budget and he needed an office, so it seems like this might be it. Next up, we got a picture of Freddie in a chicken costume, which has been teased since the trailer, since before the season started. I'm not sure how he gets into a chicken costume, but it seems like it has something to do with Paul. I'm not quite sure what it is yet. Another thing I just noticed right now is the crew member has a Hulu. On the right, you'll see the guy has a Hulu hoodie. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but it's kind of a competitor to Paramount Plus, so that doesn't make much sense. Moving on. Here we see just a picture of a few frames from the episode, and it again looks like Freddy, especially on the bottom right frame. It looks like Freddy's fighting, maybe potentially with Paul, and Carly's kind of in between. I can't wait to see this. This should be great. Next up, we got some. Now we have a series of more like better looking pictures. Those are like set pictures, but these are like posted pictures. So here we got Freddy with a rope, staring down Paul and Carly. It seems like it's a bit of a tense situation with Paul kind of really taking over Freddy's spot from the looks of it. And why does Freddy have so much rope? That's what I'm wondering as well. But this looks to be taking place at the same place. The probably the new office. Next, we got a picture of Freddie and Pearl. Great. I guess pretty great to see them again. I didn't expect Pearl to be involved so much in this episode, but I'm excited to see how Pearl's involved. Of course, she's involved in Kev app, so I guess it makes sense, right? So, but this is a good picture of them together. But Freddie a little bit shocked in his chicken costume. Next up, if you watch the kind of trailer sneak peek video that was on Nick Rewind, you'll know that this scene is a scene where the walls start closing in the office. I have no idea how that happens, but it's quite an intense scene, especially since Carly is claustrophobic. Next up, we got a picture of the three of them celebrating, which confused me because they're fighting, now they're celebrating. What are they celebrating? I have a hard time believing that Paul would be interested in the Kev app, so I'm guessing they're celebrating something to do with iCarly, as it is kind of previewed that Paul comes to kind of rescue iCarly and all the hate that Carly is getting. So maybe they have some kind of success to do with iCarly. Next up, we got a picture here of Carly and Freddie alone. And before everyone starts to react and say, "Oh, this is another one of those scenes where they get to react alone," I guess it is, but they're on a video call with Paul, so it's not that intimate scene that we might be waiting for. But it is confirmed that there will be some kind of intimate scene between Freddie and Carly this episode for the first time since our second episode of the second season. In the background, I also see the original iCarly logo, which makes me wonder, maybe for branding purposes they'll bring back the old logo for the actual like web series in the show. That would be fun. I really hope they do that. Next up, we got this picture, which again just seems like a tense scene where Freddie is hurt and Paul is trying to comfort Carly, but she's kind of hurt by Paul. Maybe this is the scene where Paul kind of loses Carly's trust. I don't know. And one thing that really struck me is, what is that timer on the top left? I'm guessing that has something to do with what they're celebrating. But what are your thoughts? Leave it in the comments what you guys think that timer could be for. Moving on, we got our last picture here, which is Carly reading more hate comments for iCarly, and she specifically says, "Oh, look at this comment." Someone says, "I remember when iCarly used to be funny." So that's fun. I like these little snarky little comments from the fans, but they're gonna have to fix this iCarly hate. I think in this episode or the next one, we'll see. And now we got some other information about the episode that I got on the wiki. Starting off with this quote, which really struck as an important one for me that we got, which is Freddie about Paul to Carly, saying, "I'm sorry, but I cannot work with this guy. Okay, it's either him or me." So that Freddie's really gonna make Carly choose between him and Paul, which I can't wait to see. I think it's gonna be very intense. Maybe it's one of those pictures we saw earlier. And I think it's gonna be a real interesting point and the relationship between Freddie and Carly as friends. Moving on, we have the confirmed guest stars, which we already know, which is Pearl and Paul. No surprises there. Moving on, we got like I think we have a brief idea of the plots. I don't know where this information comes from, but I think it makes sense. So the main plot is that Carly hires a manager to take her channel to the next level, which is Paul. But when the guy butts heads with Freddie, Carly must figure out a way to make the team work. I don't think it's gonna work. I'll tell you that much. I think they're gonna try, but they're not gonna succeed. And the subplot, which we didn't really get many pictures from. We only see some of the scenes in the trailer from the beginning of the season. But the subplot is Spencer enlists Harper to design a new restaurant uniforms while he tries to please a tough food critic. So we did see some scenes of this in the trailer. I love that Harper will go back to working at a kind of a new place with Spencer. That should be really fun. I think that them two as a duo at a workplace like that should be really fun to see. And she gets to use her creative costume work again. Next up, we got some trivia from the episode. This episode introduces Paul. We know this. Of course, he used to, the actor himself, he used to play in Drake and Josh Peck, alongside Miranda Cosgrove. So seeing this will be kind of surreal, actually, seeing them reunited after, what is it, more than 10 years. Next up, we got Carly and Freddie interacting properly, which I mentioned. So I'm excited to see that. We're lacking scenes where they're just alone together. Some of my favorite scenes. Next up, let me just read it real quick. Oh yeah, we know about the Italy thing, that Paul came from Italy. And that should be really interesting. There's even a line in the little sneak peek preview where Paul goes to Freddie like, "Oh, you think you're the only one that knows things about Carly? I know that she's claustrophobic, blah blah blah." Next up, we got Nathan Kress directing this episode, and he said that this episode is a big one. See, like that kind of stuff gets me so excited. And Nathan Kress directing the episode, I think is amazing because the last episode he directed was I think it was called We Can Fix It or something like that. And that was like my third favorite episode from last season. So I think it's gonna be great. And this is the first episode known to take place in 2022. So I think we know this because Paul mentions that he has a prototype for 2023, a phone. But moving on, what do we know about this episode? We know that Paul is going to make an introduction in this series, and we know that he's going to fight with Freddie for this position, and Freddie is going to make Carly choose. We know about the plots and how we have one side with Spencer and Harper, and the other side with Carly and Freddie. We don't know where Millicent is, or at least I don't think we know. But I don't know. Maybe she's with her mom. Next up, we got Pearl coming back. We know that. It's going to be interesting to see how that develops and how she will react to the whole Carly stuff. Next up, we got Kevap, which seems to have expanded. And we know that Kevap will be there because we saw a picture where Freddie is in the chicken costume suit, and behind him it says kevap.com or something like that. Next up, we got like some questions going to this 6th episode. Things that just came to my mind. First off, how is this fight resolved between Freddie and Paul? And my prediction, I guess, would be that Freddie says something that Carly doesn't like, maybe, and Paul kind of takes over his position. Freddie says, "Fine, I got my app, I got my new girlfriend. I don't need this." And maybe we see Paul stay for 1 or 2 episodes. Maybe not next episode, but maybe the episode after that he leaves or Freddie comes back. I think that Paul's going to win the attention or the position to help Carly. I don't know why, I just have a feeling. Especially since they mentioned that he'll be in more than 1 episode. Moving on, why do the walls start coming in? I really liked a viewer comment which said that maybe they're in an escape room or something like that. Which could be the case, but I thought it was really weird how the walls started coming in. Do you guys have any predictions for that? Let me know. Or you already gave a prediction, the escape room thing. Moving on. Does Harper get to keep her job at Shay What? Is this going to be a long-term thing, or is this going to be just 1 episode? And I don't know. I think that that Harper is going to work here for a while, at least until her stylist gig picks up again. So I think she's going to work here with Spencer. I think it'll be fun. Moving on. Do we see the return of Fire God Spencer? I kind of teased this in, what was it, the 4th episode, I believe, because I saw this in the trailer and I was like, I can't wait to see Spencer set things on fire again. But it wasn't then, so I'm guessing maybe it's now? We'll see. But it'll be fun to see. I've always loved the spoof with Spencer catching things on fire. Next up, will Carly choose Freddie or Paul? So, like I already alluded to, I do think that she's going to choose Paul at first until something happens and Freddie comes back into the picture. I don't know exactly how. Maybe I'm completely wrong because most of our guest stars only star in one episode. So maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like she's going to choose Paul at first, and it'll be a mistake. And what are my final predictions? I think Kevap is a big hit. That's why he has space. He has the budget for a big a new office and all this. So I think we're gonna see that. I think we're gonna see Paul take over the producer job for Carly. I think things are gonna be quite different, and I think they're gonna be successful at first, but things are going to take a turn for the worse, and Freddie will come back in eventually. Next up, we got Harper keeping her job with Spencer. I do think I already threw that out there, but I do think she's gonna keep her job. And another prediction is that I think iCarly will finally recover. Since they've been teasing it so much, since they've been shaming Carly so much, I think that, especially since they made it very clear that Paul is coming in to like help iCarly, I think that they will be successful in that. That's one of the reasons why I think Paul does take over. And then lastly, the prediction, I think this is going to be a big episode on many different levels. We have Josh Peck. We have some important maybe turns with how Carly's relationship with Freddie changes. We have Pearl. We have so much different like substance. There's just a lot, and Freddie himself, Nathan Kress, has said that this is an important episode, so that's not really a prediction. But moving on, I have two comments here. I did mention in a previous video that I was a little disappointed that he's only going to be in one episode, but it seems like it's been confirmed that he'll be in at least 2 episodes. So when I say him, I mean Josh Peck and Paul. So that's fun. Thank you for letting me know. And the second thing is, like I mentioned, this escape room idea, which I thought was fun. Like, how otherwise would the walls start coming in? Like, what is going on, right? So yeah, I agree with you, Jared. That could be a possibility. But I'll leave you guys with a picture like I usually do for these prediction videos, which is this. I'm pondering, what could they be celebrating? I have to believe that has something to do with iCarly. Is this at the end of the episode, middle? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But for now, this has been the Third Win channel. Very excited for this big episode. I can't wait for it. I don't know exactly what to expect, and that's what makes it even more exciting. Can't wait to see Josh Peck back. But I'll see you guys on Friday with the review. And yeah, it's been the Third Win channel. I'll see you guys very soon.